the miseries of Jacob. Jacob was a man of God, yet he had his fair share of miseries in the world. I would not dare choose the life of Jacob if it didn't also come with the blessing God had bestowed upon him. For when he was a young man, he had to run away from his father's house to Laban's, and he left his own mother and father whom he loved dearly. And while he lived with Laban, he was cheated by him all the years he was there. For he was cheated out of his wife, cheated in his wages, and was cheated in his flocks. Time and time again he had to run away from Laban, who pursued him and overtook him. And next came Esau with 400 men to cut him up, root and branch. Imagine the fears and misery of your own brother wanting to take vengeance on you. Then there was a season of prayer, and afterwards he wrestled, and had to go all his life with his thigh out of joint. But then, a little further on, Rachel, his dear beloved wife, died. Then his daughter Dinah was defiled by a strange man. And when his sons had found out, they murdered the Shechemites, the city where the man who defiled Dinah had dwelled, and they killed every one of them. And this brought a stink upon Jacob's name and his household. And they were forced to pack all they had and move to another land. And there is his dear son Joseph, who was sold into Egypt. But Jacob was told that his son had perished and was dead, and he cried and lived many years with a grieved heart. Then Reuben, his son, goes up to his bed and pollutes it by sleeping with his own wife. How terrible this must have been, to look upon your son and know he had betrayed you by sleeping with your wife. A wicked thing indeed it is. But that was not the end of his troubles, for Judah his son slept with his own daughter-in-law, and all his sons became a plague to him. And at last Benjamin, his youngest son, was taken away, and the old man was broken-hearted and had no will to even live, for he had thought to have lost 2 of his beloved sons. Never was man more tried than Jacob, all through the one sin of cheating his brother. All through his life God chastised him. But I believe there are many who can sympathize with dear old Jacob. They have had to pass through trials very much like his. We are called to carry our crosses unto salvation. For God says, I change not, therefore ye sons of Jacob are not consumed. Listen, you poor tired souls, you are not consumed simply because of the unchanging nature of your God. For Jacob could not be consumed by God, for God had made a promise to his fathers Isaac and Abraham, and God keeps his promises. But when you think that your miseries cannot be borne and are too much, think upon Jesus. Compared to Jesus, you only see the skirts of the garments of affliction. You have never had trials like his. You do not understand what troubles mean. You have hardly ever sipped the cup of trouble. You have only had a drop or two here and there, but Jesus drank the full cups of troubles. Fear not, saith God, I am the Lord, I change not. Therefore ye sons of Jacob are not consumed. But who are the sons of Jacob? I should like you to find out whether you are sons of Jacob yourselves, for they are men of peculiar character. For though there were some things about Jacob's character which we cannot commend, there are 1 or 2 things which God commends. There was Jacob's faith, by which Jacob had his name written amongst the mighty worthies who obtained not the promises on earth, but shall obtain them in heaven. Are you men of faith, beloved? Do you know what it is to walk by faith, to live by faith, to get your temporary food by faith, to live on spiritual manna, all by faith? Is faith the rule of your life? If so, then you are the sons of Jacob.